Well, guys, it's been a month and 10 days exactly since I put Kira to sleep. What happened? Well, she was sleeping, I think, and then I heard her barking and I saw the cat running away, and so I think the cat jumped her, and then she was limping on her right back leg, and I took her to the vet the next day, and the vet said, well, it's her foot, something happened with her foot, and here's some painkillers, and if it's better then stop the painkillers. And after 2 weeks, the painkillers, I was out of painkillers. Oh yeah, and not to walk too much with her anymore. So after 2 weeks, I was out of painkillers, and she was still limping somewhat. So I went to the vet on Monday, which is when my regular vet is there, and she said it's not her foot, it's her knee. And then we were scheduled to make pictures, and there's only one x-ray in the area, so it was like, I think, the 10th or something that we were supposed to take x-rays. And then I got an email that around the 10th, well, anyway, I got an email that the x-ray pictures due to COVID were pushed to the 14th. So I wasn't happy. Kira was already limping like for a month now, and then we had to go to the dentist with my husband, and we came to the dentist, and Kira always goes with us when we go to the dentist, or anywhere we go, she always goes with us. So we went to the dentist, and we were at the dentist, and then there was a COVID death, and we were sent home, and the dentist didn't have time for him that day, and it got rescheduled for that Friday. And that was Friday the 11th, 10th, Friday the 10th. Yeah, that was Friday the 10th. And so we were getting ready to go to the dentist again, and I tried to keep Kira from getting overexcited and jumping, because I didn't want her to jump while she almost had no control over one of her legs, and but she jumped anyway, getting all excited that we were going to see the for a ride again, because she loved riding in the car. That she jumped up and landed on her right leg, and then went through that leg also. So she sat down and she couldn't get up anymore. Her legs completely gave out, and we took her with us. We carried her to the car, and we went to the dentist, and there in the car I made an appointment for her to, it was Friday at that day, I made an appointment for her to be put to sleep on Monday at home. But Friday evening when we got home, it was obvious that she couldn't pee or poop anymore, and I laid her in the bed next to me, and she didn't want to stay in the bed. She wanted to be in the office, which is right across the bedroom. So she put her in the office, and I went back to bed, and then she started barking, and then I thought, you know what, I'm gonna get my blankets and I'm gonna sleep next to her in the office, and I will make arrangements for tomorrow. So the next morning at 8 o'clock I called the vet again to cancel all appointments for Monday, and told her what happened, and she couldn't pee and poop anymore, even though I tried to support her back, pulling it up. She couldn't. As soon as she got outside, she sat down, and anyway, she did sleep with me that evening, and the next morning, it was a beautiful day. The sun was shining, and Kira was coming with us, and she was all happy, and she was panting, and I gave her some roast beef, her favorite treat, before we left, and I of course fed her breakfast, making it as any normal day, except for she couldn't walk anymore. So we went to the vet, and I put her on the table, and me and my husband were both there. She was being petted and she was being reassured, and as the vet was shaving her leg, she looked at me one last time, and she was wondering what was going on, and I told her, "Oh, little girl, in about 5 minutes from now you'll be running again." And then she laid her head down, and the vet injected her, and that was it. It went really fast. It went really fast. We took her body with us. We brought her to the crematorium after that. We did that ourselves. I didn't want to be parted from her body anyway. Oh boy, this is hard. See, this little girl, I had a dream about her way back in the beginning. I saw her standing on gray tiles and looking at me, and she was a happy-go-lucky dog. And there was also, in that scene I was watching, there was a cat there. He was washing himself. And then this was about 3 weeks after we put Garfield to sleep. And then when I had that dream, about a couple of days later, I saw this picture come by on Facebook, and it turned out that the lady that owned that dog didn't want her anymore, and the neighbor said, "Well, if you don't want her anymore, hand over the rights to the dog, write a letter that you distance yourself from her, and I'll take her into the house, and I will find her a nice home." So this is what happened with Kira, and then her picture was put on Facebook because Jeanne, the lady that took her in, she already had a dog, so she couldn't. It was just too much, because she was already also a grandmother and all that. So she was a little older lady, and Kira was a handful, and so she put Kira up for adoption, and it took me 3 days before I was able to get a hold of this lady, Jeanne. And then when I called her, my mom and me, we went to go pick her up like 2 days later or so, because I had to work, and then we went to go and pick her up. And the first moment I laid eyes on her, she was behind the fence in the backyard of that house, and she came running towards me already. It's like when I dreamed about her, it's like she also dreamed about me. It was very interesting. And when I came into the house, the first thing she did was jump on my lap. So yeah, I think that kind of sealed the fate. I was there with my mom, but she jumped on my lap, so that was very interesting. And we took her home, and I remember that I had an appointment for a plane ride to America. I was going to Texas, and for about 2 to 3 weeks I was going to leave my husband alone, because I was going to see Scott in Texas, and I think it was like 2 weeks probably. Yeah. And when I was there, I also got a call that the house was sold. Okay, so now Kira went from her own home to her neighbor's home to the Terpstraat. Then we needed a transaction period because there were people in the house that I bought. So we went to a vacation spot area, and then we went into a rental area, and then we finally made it to our end destination, which is here in our own little bungalow. So Kira was so happy here, and oh my god, I can tell you 1,000 stories, but I'm not gonna do that. And this is more about how I met her. You're gonna still be hearing her snore in videos to come, because I got 3 years worth of Patreon videos that I still need to upload. Until you bump into the video with this little crosshair, which is my memorial piece to her, that's where the snoring from her ends. So don't say, okay, she's haunting the videos, because yeah, basically she is. You can still hear her snore in videos that I made already. Now, how did I deal with all that grief? First of all, I made sure that I didn't have to go to work for the next 2 weeks. I just wasn't up to it. I mean, I didn't want to bottle up my feelings, so I cried when I had to cry, and I laughed when I laughed, because she wouldn't want me to be sad. She wouldn't want me to hurt. She wouldn't want me to be in pain. She's happy. I know she's in heaven, and she's running around, and there are a lot of my pets there already. And yeah, it's gonna be cool to eventually join them. Anyways, I think there will be a new doggy, because the house is too quiet, and also we live out in the country, so it's gonna feel a little bit better when we have another doggy here. So we plan on rescuing another doggy that needs a good home, and but more about that in another video. This is about my little girl, and although irreplaceable, the way I dealt with it was basically in the 2 weeks that I had off, occupying my mind. I cleaned my office, which is a mess again, by the way. You know, spring cleanings help. Doing the big cleanings. I also finished my pantry in the garage, my storage room for foods. I finally got to do that, and I went on walks without her, and I would close my eyes and just pretend she was with me. And everything that is going to be a first is hard. Your first walk without her, your first Christmas without her, your first New Year's without her. And actually that was a blessing, because she was so afraid of the fireworks. And that's like our 4th of July. If you have a pet, you know what I mean. That's our New Year's. And but January 1st was really hard for some reason, because I felt I left her behind in last year. I know, weird. But anyway, I know she wouldn't want me to be sad. Grief, I feel grief also is something selfish, even though we have it. But you know, grief is like, oh, I can't hold her anymore, I can't pet her anymore, I can't do this, I can't do that. And but you know, you can't torture an animal who can't poop and pee anymore because you don't want to say goodbye to them. I mean, that's when you get a pet, you know, if you're lucky, one day they fall asleep and they won't wake up. But if you're not so lucky, you might have to make that decision for them. So everybody who has a pet knows that. As soon as they start, they know that they will have to probably make that decision. And I am no different. Um, so, would I do it again? Last year it took 30 years between dogs. And I have to tell you, when a dog gets ripped out of your life just like that, very instantly, it hurts way more than when you know it's time. When you have 2-3 days, maybe a week, to deal with the fact that you know, okay, this is it. This now is the end. If you have that moment, but like my previous doggy, she got hit by a car when I was a kid. That's a long story. What happened there, but um, I wasn't responsible for that, by the way, just in case. Um, yeah, that doggy got hit by a car and she got ripped out of my life in an instant, and that was way, way harder to deal with than this one. Even though every loss is hard to deal with when you lose a pet, but uh, let me put it like this: there was 30 years of grief in between two dogs because I just couldn't bear uh, being another pet owner because of the grief with the previous dog. But now I can say, I can honestly say that Kira wouldn't want me to be alone. She protected me for all the years that she was with us, and she would want me to have another pack member or doggy protector in the house for us. That I know that she would want that. So yeah, and I do have to say, Kira also came like 3 weeks after Garfield, and it helped a lot with dealing with the grief. So when you have a new pet you can focus on, then not the same day or the day after, but you know, give it some time in between. If it's like 3-4 weeks in between, then you can focus on a new pet, and you can put your love that is uh, unused right now because Kira's no longer here, so I cannot project my love on her anymore in the physical. And I would like to take all that love that I have inside that's being unused to be projected on another doggy. And it's not like the cat doesn't is lacking love, so it's not like okay, well, why aren't you projecting it on the cat, because he's getting a lot of love too. So anyway, yeah, it's easier when there will be another doggy, but that will be another video. This is for my little girl, and me saying goodbye, and this is me thinking of you, what you are doing in heaven right now. Bye for now, little girl. I'll see you when I get there. You want to go do pee-pee? You want to go do pee-pee? Yeah? Do you want to go do pee-pee? Yes. Do we have to go for a walk now? Do we? Yes? Okay.